So here's my number. Just call me maybe. Do 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 do. Try to save me. Do 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 do. Just call me maybe. I'm maybe. All right. What? Hey, Janet's here. Omega is already in. Dennis is in. Now let's see. Let's see if posting this. Hey, Daniel. If posting this yesterday, giving the heads up that the stream was coming, if that helps people at all in getting notifications and remembering the stream's going. I just figured it was something we could try to circumvent Susan's unwillingness to give us notifications. Let's see. Do I like Five Nights at Freddy's? Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Hey, Jacob. And TKD's back in. The notification. You got a notification for Forgotten Light? Yes, Susan. She's on the roll. One in a row. Who am I rooting for in the Super Bowl, Daniel? Kansas City. I big fan of Patrick Mahomes. Like the way they run their offense. Plus, being a Cowboys fan, you get a sour taste in your mouth from all the beatings San Francisco gave us in the playoffs, going all the way back to Dwight Clark and the goddamn catch. Stephen. The only reason Stephen Hawking died is because he forgot to update to the latest version of Microsoft. Is that true? I believe that. That's pretty good. Poor Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking will never stop taking a totally undeserved beating here in Free for All Fridays. It's just never gonna happen. It's is what it is, and he's gonna deal with it. Jaguar! Surprise, Trump won again. Well, the thing of it is, I mean, there's not anybody anywhere with anything of a rational mind that ever thought that what happened with the impeachment is exactly what I all knew would happen. The Democrats impeached him. The senators refused to convict him. We all knew what the outcome of this was going to be right from the get-go. Thanks, Mike. He says, how are you, Curtis? Great podcast. Great podcast, by the way. Thank you. We'll be scheduling. That's very special. We'll be scheduling the next podcast shortly. It should be sometime today, if not early tomorrow, but it'll be for Sunday. I asked yesterday, it seems like a lot of people have time on Sundays to hang out. And now the podcasts, what is with my S's today? The podcasts are going to be recorded here at the YouTube channel instead of over at the Goose, just so we can have more interaction. So for any of you guys that can make it, come on in. I'll give you when I announce it, I'll give you a list of the topics we're going to talk about. I think we are going to talk about the possibility of alien life as well. I mean, we'll probably slip a little politics in there too, but I think that's going to be the mainline topic. That's very interesting to me. JoJo reference. Honestly, I'm pretty sure that the impeachment decision made by the Democrats actually made Trump win in the long run. Could be, Krusty Bomb. The thing of it is with the Democrats, and we all know that Trump's a goof, and he's had a lot of instances where he's walked a very fine line as far as acceptability. I think they picked about the most ineffective thing they could have to try and impeach him for, just because the majority of people outside of the extremists on both sides just don't care. It's not that big a deal people care about food on their table obviously, and about healthcare and the economy and their day-to-day lives. Whether or not Trump pressured somebody to try and dig up some dirt on the Bidens is just not high, and the polls all bear it out. It's not high on anybody's list. Nobody gives a shit. So, Dennis, would you ever make any more Omegle videos? Probably not, just because, hey, Jayhawk, I tried it a couple times since we used to do Omegle videos all the time, and there just didn't seem to be a lot of interest in it. Right now, I watch Brexit's going through. We'll be leaving the EU today. Yeah, I see that instinct. I see that. Big day over there. I watch very carefully here at the channel to try and see what you guys enjoy the most. And again, as I told you, that doesn't go just to views, it's watch time. So if you guys are watching a lot of the videos, watching the videos for a long time, that tells me the ones you like the most. And right now, the clear and decisive winner are which is understandable because we've got a large anime community here, are the anime updates from the Goosh. Whenever I give you guys those updates, everybody seems to really enjoy those and watch those for a long period of time. The DA videos have good watch time on them. Of course, anything ERB, everybody loves epic rap battles, so those do as well. But as far as the regular content, it's those. Although I got to admit, the two comedy videos I put up this week have done well for watch time too. Let's see. Well, thanks, Rattle. As a matter of fact, talking about the two comedy videos I did this week, if you guys watched them both, I did I did the rap song. I did Low T, and then there was the Old Man dramatic reading. I am in the process of having one each of those ready to go. If you guys had a preference, which one would you rather see next? The next rap song, and just so you know, all my raps are going to be similar things because nobody raps about the perils and horrifying elements of getting old. So it's a dramatic reading. But I watched LOT. Dramatic reading was great. I like doing the dramatic readings. Forgotten Light. Thanks. So which one? And the next rap is going to be, because that rap was sexy. The next rap is going to be called Man Boobs, and the next dramatic reading, I forgot. Let me see. What was that? No, I don't have it here. Let me remember what I got to remember what I had determined. Oops, shit, that'll fuck you guys up. I had determined for the next dramatic reading. Oh, was Billie Eilish, Bad Guy, is going to be the next dramatic reading. Let's see. Well, thanks, Homer Majin. I appreciate that. That's nice of you to say. Smokey Loki says, the left doesn't get that you can like someone's policies without liking the person implementing them. That's all about me, Loki. Also, will you ever set up a Goosher hotline? I don't know what you mean, Loki. What do you mean by a Goosher hotline? I'm not sure what you mean exactly. Yeah, that's me in a nutshell. I mean, I vote for Trump because his policies most closely align with my own political perspectives. As far as in my lifetime, I've seen a lot of presidents. Outside of he's probably in the bottom three as far as people. I align well with his policies, which is why I vote for him. But as far as what I think of him as a person, I think he's a douchebag. Top person I've seen as a president was Obama. I always thought he was a great dude. Again, didn't necessarily align a lot with me politically, but as far as just a person, I think he was a great dude. Well, that's not going to happen, Jacob. I really want some feet pics, please, Chris Senpai. You're going to be wanting for that for a long time. Instinct says there are actually 2 cases of the coronavirus in UK now. 2 family members, I think. Yeah, there's what, 5 or 6 here in the US. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with the coronavirus, the people with coronavirus outside of China. Because we don't really know what's going on inside China. We don't know how many of these deaths are attributed to the fact that people just can't get the health care they need. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the US, in the UK, in Canada, as Forgotten Light says. Let's see what happens when we know the procedures that are being put into place to take care of it. Stephen Alaska. What's made of wood in a zigzag shape? Stephen Hawking's coffin. You guys are brutal. Let's see. Arcane says, when is Bleach planned to be started by you, my man? Episode 228, by the way, will be your all-time favorite one. Can't wait for those reactions. Keep up the good work. Well, thanks. Bleach starts right after Attack on Titan. And I'm finishing up, actually, tomorrow I'll be watching the last. It won't be, I won't be posting it, but I'll be watching. I won't be posting it tomorrow. I mean, I'll be watching the last episode of season 2 of Attack on Titan, and when that's done, then we go right to Bleach over at the Goosh. Also, damn, the Chinese want to go everywhere but their own home while sick. Yeah, I mean, Krusty Bomb, and now some of this shit just freaking confuses me, amazes me. So a lot of nations are, dealing with, okay, how do we handle anybody coming to our nations from China? Should we cut off having Chinese people come in at this point? Just kill flights from China. Say no, not until you guys get that squared away, and which seems a reasonable course of action. I mean, with what's going on, you can't blame governments for having that concern. And immediately you see idiots online going, "You're racist and xenophobic because you don't want to spread a potentially deadly disease." Well, you're only excluding Chinese from your nation. Yeah, because that's the country where it's originating. It just social media in general, and well, social media in specific and people in general just fucking amaze me sometimes. Omega says, here's a somewhat odd thing that you won't get unless you've been a janitor. Open containers of juice anywhere near carpet drives me insane. I can imagine, Omega. Oh, juice. And juice is the ultimate stain, isn't it? There's a lot of things. I mean, especially since from the time I was a kid, there's a lot of different chemicals now. There's a lot of different cleaning agents that can take care of stains that, we just didn't have that ability when I was younger. But juice is like enemy. You throw some grape juice down on a white carpet, fuck it, throw that carpet out. Hey, Glenn, good to see you, pal. Notification wasn't too late. I mean, by Susan's standards, we've only been on for 12 minutes, so that's pretty good for her. Yeah, did you see that PC format? Is the Umbrella Corporation logo oddly similar to a Wuhan Biotech lab? That's creepy. That was some seriously creepy shit right there. Curtis versus Trump. Well, are we talking politics or a fight? Because both would be cool. I'll go for either. And then it's not, he's substantially older than me. I was gonna say it's just two old men fighting. There's no somebody's picking on a senior citizen or something. But he's got a number of years on me, and I did see him do that. That work he did with the WWE. Yeah, one thing we can say for sure about Trump, athleticism is not his thing in any way, shape, or form at all. Smokey Loki says, joking about the Gusher hotline. Oh, okay. I didn't know. I thought maybe you had a good idea for something, Loki. I thought, it's like, what am I missing here? What could we be setting up? Actually, Gushers do have a hotline because in the respect that I check the private, well, you guys know, all you guys that are Gushers, I check the private messages there religiously. So it's the quickest way to ever get a hold of me is a private message at the Goosh. Would be a funny skit for the channel, though. Have various Gooshers call in to make jokes or complain about their Gooshing performance in the bedroom. Well, actually, we could have my wife on if she wasn't so camera shy, and she could complain about the ultimate Goosh man in the bedroom, and it would be an all legitimate complaint. Oh, cranberry juice. I didn't even think of that, Omega. We're talking about for staining ability, like on a carpet. I didn't even think about cranberry juice. Yeah, that nice deep red. Fuck. I can see why. Well, you having, like you say, somebody who's worked in a janitorial field, having that type of antsiness around juice near a carpet is similar to me. If I'm walking around, whatever, even around the house, and I see a metal folding chair folded up in the corner, I'm like, because it's like it's gonna get me. So yeah, I have the same kind of nom complex, but it's for folding chairs. Yeah, my gooch is pretty much non-existent. Jonathan says, we're all together. Listen, when you get done and she says, is that all there is? You just say, that's all there is for today, baby. And you go to sleep. Trump has a mother? You know what, Emma? You would assume. Maybe not. He might have spawned somehow in a form that is out, otherwise unknown to us. More wrestling videos. Where can I see you fight? I think I still have. It's not on this account, Forgotten Light, but I think there's still something up on YouTube. Best thing to do is just search YouTube. Just put Curtis Candy Wrestling, and some stuff comes up. I think I have one up there. I think some of the promotions I used to work for still have some old stuff up. Excuse me, it's a monkey mother, hacker says. Just want to make sure you heard, though, for... Dab and Dab says, just want to make sure you heard, though, for real, we should cut off China until they sort it out like Russia did. Yeah, I mean, it certainly makes sense to me. I don't understand why that would be even controversial. Because we know what's going on in there, and again, we don't know exactly what the number of dead, of infected might be. It just seems like a pretty solid idea to say, you know what, why don't you guys just keep your airplanes over there until you get it all figured out? But again, I guess to a lot of people, subjecting a whole nation, a whole community of people to potential death is preferable to not being as politically correct as one might be and making someone feel unwanted. Trump is secretly a fugitive from Area 51, Joel says. Really? That could be. I won't get into it. It's funny you said Area 51. I was going to bring it up, but we're going to talk about that on the podcast stream that we'll have Sunday, so I won't get into it too deep. I was going to ask you guys something about alien life and what you thought, but we'll bring that up then. Curtis versus alien Trump. Better to have it only spread in one country in the world. Well, yeah, exactly, Dab and Dab. But again, it's the idiocy of people. Well, you're racist and you're xenophobic because you're denying Chinese people the ability to travel freely. Well, yeah. A lot of airlines have stopped flights to and from China. That's what we're talking about, Em. It's not racist or xenophobic. The issue, it's a health one. That's what I tried to explain. That's what I've been trying to say. And it's a common sense one. But, again, well, you guys will see it. You guys are online, same way I am. You see the same fucking dumb shits in social media saying the same stupid shit. Bukaki Tsunami says, the U.S. sucks, so we kind of deserve a little virus outbreak. I wouldn't go that far. Hey, what is this too? I only just started reading about this. Maybe more of you guys know, or maybe you guys know more about it than do I. Are they saying now that this might be born or originated somehow from the fact that in China they eat like bats? Yeah, I mean they're considered delicacies, not because they're poor. Apparently they eat bats, rats, things like that, and they think that's what might have begun the whole process. Is that true? Haven't you heard? I caught a couple clips like of highlights of stories. I haven't got to read it in depth. I'm curious if you guys have. Macrote says the needs for the many outweigh the needs of the Chinese. I did hear that in Spock's voice when I read it too, Macrote. I like that. Omega says, had to break my girlfriend's habit of bringing glasses of orange juice to bed because I'd have near panic attacks with it around, especially when we get frisky. Isn't that funny? It is funny how that stuff, it does affect you. I mean, what you do for a living or what you experience daily has such a dramatic effect on all elements of your life. And I just came in, Omega's talking about if you've ever worked in custodial, you get freaked out if you see juice next to carpet. And that's what we're talking about. And like I say, for me, it's a joke, but it's not totally without merit that I see I see a metal folding chair over in the corner. I give it a second glance, like, oh, it does. It flashes back. It's like my head immediately starts to throb a little bit. M says, until they can figure out a vaccine or a cure, it's just logical makes no sense to let it spread. I completely agree. Could not agree more. And what amazes me is something that should be as obvious as that. Again, only in the world we live in could somebody actually have an issue with that. Well, thanks, Gotcha Demon. I appreciate that. That's nice of you to say. MUA Cooper says, I don't understand how something you ate then could become an airborne virus. Doesn't usually just affect the person who ate. Now, this is conjecture on my fault, MUA, because I don't know. I'm assuming that because that what they were eating gave them a virus, and then viruses can be transmitted any one of a number of ways. That's what I'm assuming is the case. Like I said, I haven't gotten to really read up on that element of it, but I know that's what's being said. Now, I don't know if it's being said officially, or I always like to point this out because I don't like to spread anything and let people think it's fact if I don't know it to be fact, and I don't know this too. I don't know if that's been an official take or if that is just rumor. But that's what they've been saying. It's some of the weird shit that they like to eat, the weird animals they like to eat that cause the initial sickness. But again, I haven't got to read up on it a lot. Forgotten, like, oh, my shirt? Yeah, absolutely. This is one of my favorites. Hold on, I just got to get this pulled up. My Ichiraku Ramen shirt. Good old Ichiraku Ramen. Because we all know Ramen Guy is the biggest badass in all of Naruto. And it's not even close. Yeah, I love this Ichiraku Ramen one. Where did I get this? I think in box lunch stores. I don't know how many of them there are out there. You know, I don't know how common box lunch chain stores are, but it's a cool store. That and the other store I like, and I was disappointed last time. I don't get to go there often. There's not one around me. The Uniqlo, Uniqlo stores. There's one down at Disney Springs, and when we went to Disney back in December, I got to go there again. They always have some great anime stuff, but I was kind of disappointed. Last time I went, they only had not that there's anything wrong with Dragon Ball, but they usually have a good selection, and they had some big push for something about Dragon Ball, so that's all they had in the store was Dragon Ball stuff. I was kind of disappointed. Lude says, bats are currently the most popular origin for the virus. Yes, it was koalas originally. Seems like the bat theory has some backing, though. Okay, well, that's what I was starting to get, Lude. And again, I haven't got to read deeply into it, so I want to express to everybody I don't know any of that to be fact. It's just stuff I was reading just prior to the stream. PC format. Literate Greta Thunberg, I want you to act real. Climate change is affecting the planet, but it does not know how many times there have been climate changes on Earth. Yeah, I'm not a Greta Thunberg fan myself because, again, it's just the trotting out of a child to put a face to a cause. I don't. Again, there are people and young people who are much, much more well-versed in the actual science of climate than Greta Thunberg, but she's just pushed out there to again to be the face of a movement, and to me that's just obnoxious. Let's see, what do I think about anti-vax parents? I think anti-vax is insanity. Again, vaccines do not cause autism, and vaccines have largely perpetuated humanity, and it's wow. They're right there with flat earthers for me. Omega Project says, I'm fine as long as it had a lid. I've heard of janitors who've been doing it longer than me can't have carpet in their house. I believe that, Omega, though. I mean, it sounds like an extremism, but I get that. When that's your job, I mean, that's what you do day to day to day, and you know that goddamn juice is going to create you a shit ton of headaches. I can see that. I can see that. Let's see. Yeah, and don't get me wrong, Red. Climate change is a thing. Climate change is absolutely a fact. It's just the level that mankind has actually contributed and is contributing to it. Climate change has been going on for the entirety of the existence of the planet. We can, the science can track that. It's just a matter of how much effect does mankind really have on it, and I don't think it's as much as people who will be rewarded financially want you to believe it will be. Autism is genetic, boy. Poppy Black says. How many times have I been to Disney, Mr. Syke? I don't know. It's been quite enough. That's our vacation spot. It's gotten to where if we go on vacation, it's to Disney. So our family has gotten to where, and we've done this, if there's not enough, if there's not enough money in a given year, household money, to go to Disney, We will just not take a vacation that year, save that money, and put it in with the next year's fund to be able to go to Disney World. So I don't know. I'm not even sure how many times I've been. At least a dozen. Let's see. Uh, Dennis Moan says, "Who wins, Ultra Instinct Shaggy or Kaioken Goofy?" Oh, Kaioken Goofy's a badass, but we're talking Ultra Instinct Shaggy, Dennis. Yeah, I got. Oh, yeah. Ultra Instinct versus Kaioken. Yeah, it's got to be Ultra Instinct Shaggy. He's a legendary badass. Kaioken Goofy just hasn't reached that level yet. I've watched some Key and Peele. I like them, Dennis. I think they're really funny. React to those videos? I hadn't really thought. I don't know. I'd have to look into it more. If it was something that, first of all, as again, I was trying to determine if creators are cool with the reactions and everything, so I haven't even looked into it. The internet is a sport for whoever can whine the loudest. Pretty much, Ego Death. That's well put. That's well put. Jamie says, "Hey, Uncle Curtis, where's Golden?" I don't know, Jamie. As long as he's not here, I'm good with it. Hopefully he's dead somewhere. But I'm sure he is, and I don't think he can die. Shaggy would just get high and lose interest, though. Good point, Tsunami. Yeah, it'd have to, like you say, it'd have to be over quick, or he'd just be like, yeah, fuck it. Gigamax says, "Are you ever gonna do those anime green screens again? Those are fun. Those are so fucking funny, especially that I can float with half a body too. That had me bad. I like those Gigamax. The only reason I stopped them was, remember when I was putting them out was when we were just getting hammered with strikes and blocks from the Japanese companies, and it's like, fuck, these are going to be next. So I just kind of backed off of everything anime. If I get the feeling that I think, and those are clearly within fair use. I mean, that's not even close. That is what I'm doing there. That type of satire is directly addressed by fair use law. And fair use is very vague to begin with, but it's not vague in that case. But I just didn't want the hassle of fighting it. If I find that YouTube is actually doing things the way they're supposed to with those copyrights, like they said they were going to, I might bring them back again. They were fun. They were a lot of fun to make. So they could come back. But that's the only reason I stopped. Well, you guys know, you're all here with me. That's when they just started fucking hammering us left and right. Not vaccinating your kids should be illegal. Yeah, or at least, Omega, I like what a lot of school districts do, and the child can't go to school unless they get them vaccinated. I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm surprised that there are some places that didn't have that in place, to be honest with you. We always had to be vaccinated when I was growing up. Maybe not as many vaccinations as you need now, but there were some we had to have. Moonshine Girl, thank you for the magenta sky. Did you guys catch it? The word magenta is staying with me now. And for those of you who are like, what? I have, because of the post-concussion syndrome, certain words just block out on me. And magenta, which the gang determined this $50 level, that color is magenta. It's a magenta sky. It would never come to me. But it's actually, I might be defeating that one. The last few times I've been able to find that word when I wanted it. Password. While he was visiting, my father asked for the password for our Wi-Fi. It's taped under the modem, I told him. After 3 failed attempts to log on, he asked, "Am I spelling this right?" TAPEDUNDRTHOMODEM. That's no, don't get me wrong. I don't mean this as an insult at all when I say this, because I dearly love my wife, but that sounds like something she would do. She is so, just because she is so, and she'll tell you, she is the most technically non-savvy person I know. I was down there twice yesterday, as a matter of fact, with her on her computer because she was trying to do some of her stuff with her Cricut, and she couldn't make that work right. And then yesterday was my oldest stepdaughter's birthday, and she was trying to post pictures of her that she had already uploaded to Facebook, and she couldn't figure out how to bring them over into the post, and yeah. So that sounds like a conversation we would have. Smokey Loki says, "Speaking of politics and Disney, when will the Disney overlords make their move and subsume all the countries under one world government?" Hi, Mickey. It's coming close to that now, Loki. We're this close. You know what? It's one of the reasons that my wife and I spend the money to maintain our annual passes to Disney World, is simply because when Disney takes over, I think that's going to win us some favor. I think we might get fed to the mouse last. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. um, uh, okay, hold on. Let me make sure I'm caught up here. Brother E says, yes, bring those Curtis anime vids back. Legendary. I like doing them, Brother E. And the now we're changing computers and updating my Premiere Pro. The keying for the green screen is much better on this software, so it'll be even more convenient to do them. Again, it was just a case of I started getting scared. It's like, yeah, they're going to come for these, but it wouldn't take much persuasion to get me to go back to them now, because I think I shouldn't even say this. I think the heat is off a little bit just because of the way that YouTube appropriately changed some of the rules regarding the copyright claims. But yes, I wouldn't mind bringing them back at all. I'm really enjoying bringing back the Old Man Dramatic readings. Those have always been fun to me. Chippy Salt says, good day, Curtis. Good day, my friend. About to board a plane with other volunteer firefighters from Perth to Canberra, Australia to fight yet another fire. Wow. Gotta catch your stream before I go. Keep up the great work. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, and be safe. I haven't read a lot, and you have to go out of your way to look for it here because, again, everybody knows our American media is so fucked in the head. You're never going to give things that are actual concerning news like the Australian fires. That's never going to get priority over what Mitch McConnell called Nancy Pelosi, or who's whining about this, or what politician didn't like that, or are we gonna have witnesses in this Senate trial that means nothing anyway because we all know it's going to lead to acquittal. And yeah, that's what we concentrate on, is all that horse shit, rather than people's very lives being endangered in an area that is Australia. I mean, one of our closest friends and allies. So I do need to go read up and see how they're doing as far as the firefighting battle. But I hope, stay safe, Chippy Salt. I hope everything works out so well for you guys there. That's frightening. Wood Angel says, it's dark pink, you heathens. Viva la resistance. And Wood's talking about, too, for any of you who don't know, when we were naming all the different colors of the Super Chat levels, the fight over what that $50 would be was legendary. Everybody came to terms on everything else, but goddamn, that it was dark pink, had some, I can't remember them all, and it was magenta, dark pink, and there was another major contender. I forgot what the other major contender was. You guys will know. You guys will remember. Keep on the great videos, man. Love from Taiwan. Very cool. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. I always call people by screen names. I cannot read your screen name. But thank you. I appreciate that a lot. I like your icon pick, too. It's cool. Jamie says, this is why CEO Bob Iger needs to be stopped. He's the Emperor Palpatine and poor Mickey is Darth Vader. I like that analogy. Well, like I say, Jamie, that's why I'm afraid. My wife and I are afraid to drop our annual passes. Because I don't want that on my record when they take over. I mean, when the Emperor and Darth, finally come forward, we already know they're running everything anyway. When they come out of the shadows and say, okay, this is the New World Order, I don't want them looking going, the fuck you drop your annual pass for? I don't want to be mouse food. Let's see. It's actually was it Rose? Was Rose the other one? Rose, that's what it was. You're right, Big Green and Jamie, that's what it was. Rose was the other one. Je suis. Ichiraku Ramen shirt. Yeah, Son Goku. Well, again, you guys know I have a problem with, I had to cut myself off. I was spending too much money on goddamn anime shirts, but now I haven't bought one in a while. I think I got to get online and shop. The only thing that bothers me is the best place to get them online. Now, this one I got, this is well made. I said this one I got at Box Lunch. I get them from, name of the site's going to go right out of my head. T Plus, is it? Something like that. I've got it bookmarked. But the transfer area varies wildly in quality. And you'll see as I'm wearing them, some of them are immediately, they're like peeling and it's fading and everything. And others I get last just fine. Wash after wash, they're fine. So that kind of irritates me a little, but you don't have a lot of choices. There aren't that many places that do these shirts out there. But this one, like I say, this one's a little better made, but it was made for regular retail. And so maybe that's why. Omega says, no, it won't be mouse food. They'll feed you to Pluto. Oh, Pluto picking at our carcasses. Kind of hot, actually. Steve O says, Orewa o chinchin daisuke nandayo. Now, wait a second. This is how my brain works. Now, obviously, I don't understand what all this. Chin Chin, I'm assuming we're making a Filthy Frank reference there. But it's like, if I look at those words harder, I will understand them. What the fuck? And that's what I was thinking too. Orewa, it's like, okay, that's a greeting. It's got to be a greeting. O Chin Chin, Daisuke Nandayo. So it's like, now if I look at Daisuke Nandayo long enough, I'll understand it. I'm kind of sad. Hi, Kyle. I like how in the background, M says, compare colors and know you're wrong. Every time that comes up too about that $50 level, about that magenta, it opens old wounds and re-triggers the debate again. Jamie says children will be forced to be in It's a Small World. We were just talking about It's a Small World last night. Some friends of ours were over, and they were always Disney nuts. They actually just started going to Disney. We've been there with them a couple times. Good friends of ours, and we were talking about that last night. And married couple, and the woman, her name is Elizabeth. Her two of her favorite things are two of the only rides/attractions at Disney I don't care if I never did again. And it's a Small World and the Tiki Room, the Enchanted Tiki Room. Both of them annoy the shit out of me, and she loves them. So we're just talking about that last night. Nancy Pelosi says, what do I and a jellyfish have in common? Oh, I don't know, Nancy. I can think of some things, but I'll go with your answer instead. We both talk from our ass. I would say you still both have the same spinal structure as well. You're both bays, Wolverine says. Oh, Nancy. M says, tell me I'm wrong. Okay, hold on. Let me see what this is. I got to open a new window so it doesn't interrupt the stream. Okay. If you guys click on her link, she makes a strong case. That is the ultimate magenta. That is magenta right there in that link. And now you look at that, and especially when you compare it to where I'm, I got my pointer here now, the part of the magenta sky that is initially up there, not the darker part where it's going away, but where it was initially placed. She's right. That looks pretty freaking dead on. That's pretty damn close. Tickle the pickle for a nickel? Sure, Peter. For a nickel, I listen. I can use the money. Lick says, okay, but you're wrong. That will never end. It's one of the many endearing things about our community here to me is that debate will never subside at Spaz Boys Comedy / The Goosh. That $50 level will always be a cause of great consternation. Excuse me. Amy? Oh, I couldn't read that at all. Is a great site for anime merch. Really? TKD. Let me look that up. Don't start with me, Pox. Says, see that? I'll tell you that the Magenta War. The Magenta War was our basic Vietnam. Is basically what it was. People still have PTSD from it. Let me see what this is. Character and hobby shop. Oh, wow, they do have a lot of cool stuff, don't they? Whoa. God damn, what are some of the figures? Yeah, I'll have to look through that more. um, let me catch up here. Don't tell me what to do, Mom. Here we go. Omega Delta Phoenix says, gonna eat wings on Super Bowl Sunday? I'm not a huge wing fan, Omega Delta. I'll eat them, but you know why? Because I'm a pussy. I can't eat anything with any type of spices. I'm the biggest spice puss. Was Puss one of the Spice Girls? Because that seemed like it had a familiar ring to it. I am one of the biggest pussies you'll ever see when it comes to spicy foods. So even mild wings are too hot for me. So the only time I do like wings, but they have to be plain. I can't have it. As soon as you put sauce on them, I don't want them. I'm sure we got friends coming over. I'm sure we'll grab some pizza and we'll have wings. But unless we decide to order some plain, I won't be partaking in them because I'm a chicken shit. Peter says skin flute. Jacob says me like pussy. And the knives come out again. Yep, Omega. And that will always. And again, that's what one of the many things I love about the community. That's the kind of stuff that puts us at odds with each other. Dennis, tickle the pickle, yank the crank, give a hojo to go. The fuck is the point of playing wings? Yeah, I get that a lot, Maz. That's the only way I can eat them. I think they're delicious, but I as soon as you put the sauce on them, nope, I'm out. Do you think the coronavirus is man-made? I don't think so. Your body? I don't think so. I think, and we were talking about this earlier. Apparently, they're finding out. I would tend to believe that the dietary habits in China may have started the whole thing. I mean, when you're eating bats, it doesn't seem like an extreme leap to believe that maybe that dietary choice created some issues within your body that then became a virus that could spread to others. That seems reasonable to me. Who the hell eats plain wings? I eat plain everything though, Derek, to be fair. Oh, I told you guys before, I am the most boring eater you'll ever see. I don't use any condiments. I don't use ketchup, mustard, relish, onions, anything. I will say this, I can eat them. I prefer not to. But if you put ketchup on my burger, I can eat it. Put mustard on it, I can eat it. If you put mayonnaise on anything, that's gag reflex time. Fuck mayonnaise. Mayonnaise needs to go crawl in a hole and die. Because as soon as the mayonnaise comes out, I am completely out. Eating plain wings like eating dry pussy. Well, and that may be true, brother E, but listen, even dry pussy is better than no pussy, so I'm not going to throw a stone there. Lando Salem Chainsaw. I like that name. What do you think about the rift between Clinton-style Dem and the new Sanders-style Justice Democrats trying to bring back the party to FDR-style social programs? Well, you'll know when I've made no bones. The best way to put it, in the most basic terms, I am never a fan of giving any more of our money than is absolutely necessary to the government. I'm not a fan of ever giving money to the government and saying, okay, here, you take this in taxes and now you redistribute it for us, whether it's for health care or whatever else it may be. I'm not a fan of that. So the reason that I lean right is because of the Sanders-style Democrats. That's it, because I've always, and again, I pointed out to the gang here many times, I've got a lot of beliefs that fall on both sides of the aisle, strongly on both sides of the aisle, so I don't fit in with either. And most of the time, I'm right down the middle. Now I lean right because I don't like the concept of the Sanders-style Democrats. Excuse me, I am not about socialism at any level. And again, that's why it makes me laugh and then you'll have people say, well, you're already socialist. You have a fire department, you have a police department. No, those are services with no other reasonable alternative to be provided to people. Individuals can't go out and buy their own firemen. They could. It's probably not going to. It's probably not going to work out well for anybody. It's when we start willingly giving our government money to then redistribute to us. And in case anybody thinks it's a good idea, look at Social Security. Social Security should be completely solvent. That is, if I'm not mistaken, an FDR program. With the amount of money that's been put into Social Security, particularly if it was invested as it was supposed to be and everything, Social Security should be doing great. There should be plenty of money in there. There should be no worries. And here we are over a decade struggling to figure out how now, as the baby boomers are coming to retirement age, how Social Security is going to pay out what they're obligated to pay. And that's simply because the government can't run a goddamn thing properly. They don't have enough foresight to see that as they're grabbing this, they had this special interest that they took from Social Security. That special interest took from Social Security. Well, you did it. My special interest should get some of that because Social Security's got tons of money. Yeah. I am not a fan of letting the government handle anything more than necessary. Government should be there to make sure that the playing field is fair. Government should be there to squash these goddamn pharmaceutical companies from charging outrageous prices. I want them to make profits. I want them to make healthy profits because you want really the best and the brightest in that industry. But what they're doing to people is insanity. It's just disgusting and it's vile. And the government not stepping in is just because they're afraid of them. So that I want them to be involved with. I don't want them taking my money and redistributing it. I just want them looking out for us. Now I want wings, Omega says. Yeah, I can't tell you guys how much of a baby I am when it comes to anything spicy. I can't do spices at all. Critters, you can always move to Russia. I don't think Makroti, Russian politics and Russian policies fit anywhere even close to what I was just talking about. Jamie, how can you be a pussy when you're an asshole? It's pretty impressive that I'm managing to do both. My pussy is bigger than yours. Jamie, you're funny. Also, I found a terrible name for a drink that's an official drink that is in an official drink book. Can you imagine what it's called? Negroni. Really? What is that? Well, now they're and I have no idea if this is involved in it all. I do know because I used to, many years ago, I worked for a liquor distributor. And I know there's a champagne called Cordon Negro. I wonder if that has anything to do with it. I don't know what the drink is, but I wonder if it has anything to do with that champagne. Because I do remember that. Because we're all 12, so we'd always laugh at that name as well. Peter says, I wish I had a big pussy. Mark Bark is back? Did you think what Mark is now disguised as Phil? What did I miss here? Oh, where's Phil? Oh wait, did you guys have to bounce him? Because I didn't see that. I'm always anxious to see when Mark Bark shows back up. You know he can't stay away. You know he'll always be back. I'm sure he lurks as soon as he gets bounced from here. You guarantee he does, because that's the type of personality, that's the type of reject that just can't, societal reject that just can't stay away. Search a dinosaur with 500 teeth? Hold on a second, guys. I'll be away from chat for just a second. Nigersaurus? What the fuck is that? I never heard of that one. Reconstructed skeleton of it. He was dubbed a Mesozoic cow. Never heard of him either. That's pretty cool. I never heard of him. Curtis, scroll up. Okay, hold on just a second. Let me see what Owen says. What was one of your most painful wrestling bumps? Oh, gosh. There were so many, Owen. As far as shots to the head, I told the guys before, the night I decided it was a good idea to get hit with a manure shovel, that knocked me out. I don't remember it, of course, but the gang said there was no ping. It was just it sounded like a sledgehammer through a melon. That one knocked me unconscious. That's not technically a bump. gosh, I don't know when you had as many as I have. The injuries, I'll tell you though, as far as injuries, so if you want, equate painful with injuries, Owen, it always seemed, just like in everyday life, typically you got your worst injuries doing something silly, doing something small, because you had the big things. You were so careful about the elements that go into a big spot or a big bump that you'd get banged up because you knew you were going to get banged up, but you usually came out of it injury free. It was always something stupid, like once I tore the muscles on my back really bad, just jumping out of the ring after doing a run in and slipping on the mat. So, as far as individual bumps, I don't know, but that shot with the manure shovel, not one of my better ideas. Let's see. I'm trying to see where Phil is here. Phil is. Phil is here because we have a very serious accusation that it could be Mark Bark. Where the hell is he? Phil. I'm not seeing him, brother. I missed his post. I probably went right by it. Phil, if you're still here, show us your Mark Barkiness. For those who don't know, how do I describe it, guys? Mark Bark was this psycho that used to hang around here. I mean, he seriously has issues. But they were, I don't see it. I didn't see it anywhere. Seriously has issues. Lando says, so I support Trump and not say libertarians. Right off the top of my head, because I don't believe that taxation is theft by any stretch. Because I support Trump, I don't see, I mean, I don't see where you come to that conclusion. Why would that suggest that the libertarians would be a better landing spot for me? Again, that's one of their main tenets, libertarians, that taxation is theft, and I don't believe that in any way, shape, or form. Taxation is an absolute necessity to make our country run. It's a necessary evil. It's not something we all like, but I'm sure we would like the results of no taxation a lot less. I'm saying I'm not in favor of putting the government in charge of anything more than is necessary, but there are things that clearly it's necessary for our society to run as fluidly as possible for the government to be in charge of it. Price gouging of meds sucks. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Phoenix. And that's where the government falls down for me. That's, instead of, the first thing we should be tackling before we worry about whose system of providing healthcare is best is get the goddamn costing lines. Because none of the healthcare, there's no really good solution at all unless the cost of healthcare services is brought into check. And again, you got to start with the pharmaceuticals. I think something needs to be done. We've talked about this before about superfluous lawsuits. The lawsuits against the medical profession, and frivolous ones at that, are just such a huge factor in why everything costs so much. I don't think this is Mark Bark, Curtis. Mark Bark would have kept going by this point. I think you're probably right, Big Green. Like Big Green says, Brother E, I think Mark Bark usually had to get to a point of uncomfort before he would leave. He stayed for a while first. It's next to the Russia Super Chat count. I probably won't even be able to find it now. I can only see so far back. Let's see. Painful Wrestling, Dinosaur. Always move to Russia. Okay, it is still there. Okay, so where's Phil? Oh, there's Phil. Okay. Oh, okay. Phil Simpson, this guy is such a bull talker. That's big words, Phil. You called me a bull talker? He doesn't want a socialist society because he's on the 1% who don't need to pay taxes as a retired YouTuber. What the fuck? Well, Phil expressed his ignorance right away. I don't need to pay taxes? Holy fuck. Have I been getting suckered then? I was just talking to my wife about how it's like, oh man, I'm so stressed out because coming up soon in April, I have to do, you guys know how before I take a day off or if we go on vacation, I get videos done ahead of time to make sure everything runs smooth. Well, at tax time, I have to do the same thing. I have to get a whole day's worth of videos done ahead so I can spend an entire day getting my taxes done. Fucking Phil says I don't even need to pay taxes. God damn it, Phil. Why didn't you tell me this? All that, what did I spend? Why did I send the government all that money then? Just, I had to be out of the goodness of my own heart. God damn. Listen, that's not Mark Bark. Phil's a genius. Cause I want, I want Phil to be in charge of shit. Because if I don't have to pay taxes, I'm good. Shit, he's below my comment, Peter says. What year was I born, Marco? 1961. Whoa. That doesn't even... that seems like a time so far gone it's not even real anymore. It's something imagined. This Phil is way better than other Phils. I hate taxes. We all do, Ian. We all do. I mean, they're a necessary evil. It would be nice, though, if our tax dollars were used certainly more effectively and without as many fingers in the till as there are in our political system. Yeah, Omega says, okay, Phil, you forgot the first rule of talking. Think first. What the hell? That was just... And it's funny how quickly they want to be combative, or a lot of times it's just want attention. But whatever the case may be, they immediately out themselves as being just outrageously stupid. You don't have to pay taxes. I'm part of the 1%, you guys. If I'm part of the 1%, that means these goddamn live streams are making a lot more than 92 cents. When we looked that up that day, I must have entered some information in wrong. Yeah, and Brother E's addressing it. Curtis pays taxes. It was 92 cents a whole stream worth. That's what I mean, Brother E. Holy shit! If I'm part of the 1%, I was so lying to you guys about what these. Well, you watched it with me. So I don't know who was lying to us about what these live streams make. What's the solution for debt and student loans? Ooh, that's a tough one, Phoenix. I always said we got into the, if you want to call it a problem, this problem with student debt. It was actually well-intentioned. I mean, seriously, it was. The government getting involved to make loans easy for people to get is a well-intentioned idea. They were trying to allow more people to get to go to college. The unintended result was that the colleges and universities just started upping their why is the word terminology going out of my head again? But anyway, upping all their charges across the board for everything, for their tuition is what I was looking for everything, because people could get the money. But the best solution for debt and student loans, I think at this point, is that the kids, and this should have been done in high school, is educating the kids about making intelligent decisions. Because believe it or not, for most things, unless you're going for a really advanced degree, you're going to be a lawyer, you're going to be a neurosurgeon, whatever the case may be. But in those instances, you're going to make enough money to pay back your student loans. But for most degrees, there are economical ways to do it. The most economical way is not go take some tours of colleges and say, oh, I love this campus, I'm going here, and then paying 10 times for your education what you could have paid for that exact same degree at a community college. Smart buying decisions when it comes to college, I think, is the best place to start. But as far as people getting in debt with student loans, the thing of it is, people get in debt over their heads all the time, with car loans, with home loans, with personal loans, with all types of loans. So it's just kind of odd that it's like, well, we're just going to eliminate student debt loan. Well, okay, because we don't think it's fair. Well, what if we don't think the interest I'm paying on my mortgage is fair? Can we just eliminate all? You know what I'm saying? You signed loan papers. Nothing snuck up on you. You knew what you had to pay back. Did you, when you signed that, did you look to see what you could expect to make once you got that degree? And the thing of it is, There are so many bullshit courses that are taught throughout high school. How about teaching kids things like that are actually going to really do them some good once they get out of high school? Favorite Disney World restaurants? Ooh, good question, Sean. Well, my favorite individual place, and the name always goes out of my head, not surprising. I've told the guys over and over, I'm a pizza fanatic. It's the only thing I eat cheese on, and I love pizza. In Italy, in Epcot, the Italy section, the pizza place, that's, if you go in, it's like an alleyway, almost a wide alley that you go into to the individual countries. If you go into the Italy section and go straight to the back, there's that pizza place in the back there, and that pizza is freaking phenomenal. Now, as far as other restaurants, Boma. Boma's breakfast buffet is one of that's in the Animal Kingdom Lodge, is one of the greatest buffets. Oh my God, it's so good. The spread there is just amazing. There are so many great Disney restaurants, though. I mean, just one after the other. I really enjoyed Crystal Palace. Is really good for any meal. We've had breakfast, lunch, and dinner there. Crystal Palace is phenomenal. The list goes on and on. But right off the top of my head, those two always really stick out to me. The breakfast at Ohana, which is in one of the resorts, and again, names that don't like to come to me again. The Polynesian Resort, that's really good too. But that pizza in Italy, it's so goddamn good. Owen says, do you ever get the itch to return to wrestling? You know what's funny, Owen? Well, of course, I've been a fanatic for wrestling since I was a little kid. I thought the further I got away from it, the easier it would be to come to grips with the fact that I'd just gotten too old to wrestle and had to step away. That would become easier to deal with, and it doesn't. I mean, I watch wrestling now, and it's like, I just want to get out there, get that rush, that adrenaline, that violence, everything. It just, yes, I get the itch all the time, and I have to put ointment on it to make it stop instead of allowing myself to scratch it because it gets close for me. Gon says, you mean my gender studies degree won't make me a shitload of money? Exactly, Gon. That's what kids need to learn. It's a buying decision like anything else. Absolute buying decision like anything else. I mean, if you want to buy a new laptop and you can go to Walmart and get the exact same maker, exact same name with the exact same specs. You got the same RAM, you got the same video card, you got the same processor. Everything is the same on it. You can go to Walmart and buy it, or you can go to a high-end store, a designer store, and buy that laptop that's got the exact same power for 5-6 times the price, but you can say that you bought it from designer laptops, because that's the cool place where all the cool kids go. If you buy that laptop, you're stupid. And you wouldn't, because you're like, no, fuck you. I'm not spending that. This is the same thing. Do that with your education. Look at all the options. Don't just go, oh, I love this campus. Well, that's fine, but do you see what they're charging you for the look of this campus? And you're getting a basic math degree. Nothing wrong with a basic math degree, but you don't overpay for it. Omega says, saying it's not fair is not a reason. I agree. And it's an excuse. Stop complaining and made your choice. Live with it. Yeah, I mean, again, nobody gets blindsided by a loan. You have to sign for a loan. And then you get, well, they're 18-year-old kids. All right, so at what age do you want them to be adults? I mean, 40, 50, 60-year-olds take out loans for stuff that are above their means. It happens all the time. It's not by a specific age. But for some reason, people just seem to think that because student loans, people don't want to pay them back. They should just, no, we'll just, Bernie will tell you, we're going to forgive all that debt. Yeah, that won't have an effect on the economy at all. Yeah, guess who gets to pay for that in the long run again? Homeward Machin says, I come back to Curtis describing why Apple products are retarded. You caught that inference, did you? And in fairness, Apple laptops are wildly overpriced. I don't even, generally speaking, even people that are big Apple supporters will still agree with me on that. They are wildly overpriced. But even outside of that, and it was actually meant to be more just, a generic comparative. But all I'm saying is you would shop because you don't want to get ripped off. So do the same for your college. Um, Smokey Loki says, and thank you for the magenta sky, Smokey Loki. Magenta was there again. I'm getting good. I got that word. It sounds like a conspiracy, but I'm of the opinion that kids are not taught anything relevant in high school because government wants them to be dependent on them for help. Sometimes it certainly seems that way. They don't want them to be well-informed, self-sufficient, critical thinkers. Well, I'll tell you, again, I don't know if it's a conspiracy or not, but it's a reality. I mean, a lot of the bullshit. There are so many classes that are required in high school that I don't think should be. They should be available if a kid is planning on going into the field that relates to that class, but to make all the kids take it is ridiculous. Even a lot of the history, American history is good to have. You live in the U.S. I understand. You should understand where you came from, but there's a lot of the history classes I just don't really get. It Not that history's bad. I like history. I like reading about the history of other nations. Not everybody does, and it's not something required for you to go about your day-to-day life. This stuff is. Learning to make a smart decision about what you pay for your college is vitally important to you and to your future and your life. So, yeah, I mean, I'm with you, Loki. Again, I don't know that I would go so far as a conspiracy. I think more than the conspiracy, it's laziness. It's just like, well, this is the way it's always been done, so, well, leave them alone. They need to learn that. And somebody would come up there and say, well, they need to understand the origins of mankind and the speech. No, they don't. They don't. Is it cool knowledge to have? Sure. But is it more important than learning to make a good decision about what you're going to spend on your college? No. No, so in that element of what you're saying, Loki, I completely agree. JRP says government always sucks at everything. I'm not that far gone yet, but they suck at a lot of things. I'll give you that, Jar. Yeah. In my opinion, America pretty much learns nothing about other nations' history. Greetings from Germany. Thel. Am I saying that right? Is it Thel? I think it's more than not that we don't. The Americans just don't retain it because, well, a lot of times it's just, and this is sad to say, but it's just like, oh, it doesn't affect me, so I don't care. That knowledge is available. That learning is available at the high school level and even and beyond. But it's just, I don't know if there's an arrogance to it, or I don't even call it arrogance, just an ignorance to it that it's like, I don't care what somebody else did. I think it's more that, though. I think it's not that they don't learn about it. They just don't have enough interest to retain that knowledge that they are given. Let's see. Homosexual Sasuke. Hey, good to see you again, pal. I asked my teacher once what I was going to need this class for, and they said, you won't need it. You just have to pass it to get through high school. And that's the truth. Your teacher was being perfectly blunt and honest with you. Yeah, and I don't, again, classes like that, shit can them. Teach the kids the stuff that they really need to know. Hold on, I was reading one and the whole thing dropped down on me here. No, I can't find it again. Government always sucks at everything. I was reading oh, here, Jamie. Hey, Uncle Curtis, I want to send this another super chat, but I can't do any more today. Negroni is from the 1920s and has gin, sweet vermouth, Campari, and an orange wedge. Really? I'd never heard of that drink. And like I said, I've never been a drinker. I don't drink alcohol. And getting up for when I tell people that, a lot of people always think that there's got to be a reason for it. You used to be an alcoholic, or you had a family member who's an alcoholic. No, I don't like it. And the thing of it is, too, with me, I don't have a filter as it is, and I'll do anything anyway. Adding alcohol to that mix is probably not a good idea. I would end up in jail. There's little doubt about it. Thel says, here in Germany, we have to learn it. Well, you don't have to learn it, but it is in your lessons. I mean, like in history, I'm a World War II genius, maybe because I am German. Yeah, and I think that certainly that there is no question that the rest of the world, generally, the rest of the more advanced nations of the world, seem to, from from my perspective, seem to put more of an emphasis on learning the entirety of the world around you than do we. I don't disagree with that. I just, it's, again, the nature of our system, and there might even be some arrogance in that. But I agree with you. I don't disagree with you at all, because I've met too many people. Well, here, at the channel and everything, I've met so many people from Europe, from internationally in general, and they just seem to be so much more well versed about America than Americans are in general about where they're from. And to me, it's not even close. Let's see. BTG is that Nigerian prince uncle everyone has? Is BTG here? I haven't seen him yet. He's got I've got one G100 video left to post. Obviously, by the end of the day, it's for January, and it's BTG's. It's a gameplay of I have to always look at it to remember the name, Horizon Zero Dawn, and we've been having all kinds of trouble getting those videos up over the last 2 months, and so finally we made some big changes to the entire system. I think I got everything set to where we can actually get the gameplay recorded for him today. So that's what I'll be doing after the stream. Let's see. Omega says, of course, they don't want kids to be critical thinkers if they need people to be stupid, so they'll give them more power. I don't think that's without merit. I mean, and it's unfortunate, too, because our government hasn't always been that way. But it definitely seems like it's leaning more that way now than it ever has. Phoenix says, have you started MHA Season 4? Great so far. No. What I'm going to do, Phoenix, is I'm waiting for it to be completed. And then when it's completed and, the dub is in place and everything, I'll find a place for it at the Goosh. I'm not going to make everybody vote it in. I'll find a place to put it. But yeah, I'm going to wait for it to get done first. I'm anxious too, especially with having watched those couple videos the other day, one at the Goosh, one at the YouTube channel that brought back MHA characters and stuff. It really got me kind of charged up. Okay, Jamie, I'm glad you could be in while you could, hon. Jar says Democrat, Republican, both after money, not policy. To a large degree, yeah. That's wildly unfortunate, but true. Not down the line. Believe it or not, as much as politicians irk me, just as much as they do the rest of you guys, there are still some decent politicians out there. But for the most part, Jar, yeah. I like that. Get in the van and I have candy. You're so sexy, Curtis. Well, thank you. Because it always makes me think, whenever I see a screen name like that, it makes me think back to our good candy video. Tokyo Otaku mode for 100% quality. Okay, I'll check that one too, Ami. Yeah, because again, I like the shirts I get from TeePublic. That's the name of it. From TeePublic. It's just that this isn't one of them. But it's always a roll of the dice. Some of them are fine, and they last just fine. Wash after wash, they're great. And others, they go through the washing machine twice and they're falling to pieces, or they're fading right out. It's happening to and I love that one. My Yada Yada Daze shirt immediately started to fade away, and then I noticed the other day I had on my something shirt with just her face, and that's starting to just fade away. And they're not old enough. I mean, it'd be different if I'd had them for a couple of years, but they're not old enough to be fading that much. Now, others I bought from there hold up fine. So I don't know. I don't know why they're so different. I am the Peterphile, Peter says. Oh, candy and chocolate, M. You and me both, sweetie. It's that junk food. That's my big bane. That's why I am a fat guy, because I like junk food way too much. And as I'm getting older here, I've just got to cut down on it. There's a lot of things you can get away with when you're younger that really start to weigh on you. Literally weigh on you as you get older. Yeah, me too, Em. Yeah, Big Green, same way. Yeah, my sweet tooth is bad. That's what it is. It's all about junk food to me. I've always been a junk food nut. What do you think about them changing the smoking age to 21? Well, in a nutshell, what I'm not a fan of is the government being so wildly inconsistent about what they consider an adult. I say if you need to set an age where you're considered an adult and you get all the perks that an adult should get. Whether it's 18, whether it's 19, 20, 21, whatever the case may be. But this, well, if there's a draft, we can draft you in the military at 18, but you can't have a drink or a smoke until you're 21. That's bullshit. That's the shit that bothers me. One or the other. You're either an adult at 18 or you're not. So I guess that's the best way I can answer that. Just consistency. I don't care which way they do it, but the inconsistency of it pisses me off. What is your opinion about Brexit? I'm conservative. I don't get too deep into that, Sean, because I don't have as strong a knowledge of it as I should. From what I've read, from what I've been able to glean, it seems, and this probably comes as a surprise to no one knowing where my general leanings are anyway, I would be pro Brexit. But again, I will readily admit when I'm not as well versed on something as I should be. Maybe if I read more, my opinions may change, but that's my initial impression, Sean. I think I would probably be pro. And I should be more well versed on that, because if for no other reason, just out of respect for, we've always had a huge UK contingency here at the channel, and I should be paying more attention to the things that affect you guys, because I know we'll be talking about them. Omega, my weakness is donuts. Oh yeah, which is awful for me. I drive by a donut shop every day on my way to work. Yeah, the thing is, Krispy Kreme, I think, are the best donuts. Unfortunately, we don't have one anywhere near us. I'm glad. We did for a short time. I mean, it wasn't real close. Even that one was like a 40-minute drive for me, but I would do it. But Krispy Kremes are so fucking good. Yeah, my sweet tooth is, it's bad for me. Joshua, Yo Curtis was up, big fan in sub chat. Well, thanks, Joshua. I appreciate that, and welcome. Fucking donut witches, M says. Peter says, I agree. Can't drink till 21, gets drafted at 18. Stupid. Yeah, not fair at all. I mean, to the point where, and it's it's something dumb, but it actually angers me. That's not fair. If you're going to say at 18, you can go out and fight and die for this country, no fucking way should you be allowed to say that you don't have all the rights and privileges of every other adult at that point. Bullshit. Whatever it is. Right down the line, whether it's alcohol, whether it's cigarettes, whether it's gun ownership, whatever you want to call it. If you're an adult, you're an adult. You don't get to, well, it's more convenient for us to have the draft be at 18 because we need these young, strong bodies. Well, then give them all those, it got me pissed off. Give all those young, strong bodies all the perks of being an adult. Not just the ones that suit your purpose. Lando says, other libertarians support low taxes of various kinds, arguing that society with no taxation would have difficulty providing public goods such as crime prevention and unified legal system. Arguing that a society with no taxation would have support low taxes of various kinds. Arguing that a society with no taxation would have difficulty. Okay, well, that's true. Absolutely, Lando. I had to read a couple times to see what you were saying. That's absolutely true. You have to provide certain things to the public. And again, my stance, as always, I don't have a problem with the government providing the things that we need government to provide for us. I don't have a problem for the local governments being in charge of taking care of the roads, and infrastructure, which is crumbling. I don't have a problem with governments setting up the police and fire departments for communities. There's no other really solid, viable alternative, no other way to do that. I do have a problem when government starts saying, okay, well, here's, fill in the blank with whatever it is, here's this service that, could be, you could purchase in the private sector, but you know what would be better? You give us your money, and then we'll redistribute it to you through this service because we know what's best. That's when I start to get annoyed. That's where I jump off the train. Let's see. Have I seen Astartes? It's a sci-fi short series on YouTube. No, I've never heard of that, Darkrai. The nuts of dough are a great temptation. Yes, they are, Steve. Jeez. And again, like I say, it's, as Em said, as several others said, that's my big weakness is the goddamn sweets. I can't even find a girlfriend at 60, Ami said. Oh, you're 60, Ami? Yeah, there's still women out there. Raising the smoking age seems dumb to me, especially when you could barely enforce it before. Omega, I completely agree. And again, for me, I think 18 is is an adequate. I think you need to be able, by 18 in our society, I think you need to be able to start making adult decisions. So I think 18 is a key age to be considered an adult. But again, you got to do it across the board. You don't get to pick and choose that. Oh, I'm telling you, that annoys me to no end. Daniel says, your Naruto Filthy Frank and Nigotas reactions are why I subscribed to the channel. That and you and Spaz Boys always have seemed to be genuinely great people. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Daniel. It's very kind of you to say. So when is your cage match against my boy Boo? Homeward Martian says, oh man, I couldn't even fight Fat Boo. I'd be so happy to be in his presence. Listen, we'd go out and get ice cream. There's no way I'm fighting him. Ice cream, money, ice cream. Yeah, Fat Boo is my boy. No way I'm fighting him. Plus that knew would beat me up. Let's see. 18 when you're an adult for all the stupid shit, but still a kid for everything fun. Yeah, exactly, Gone. That's, and I don't even know why. I guess it's just because such blatant unfairness just gets to me. It just really irritates me. That whole concept, it doesn't matter if it's currently in place. The fact is, if they ever bring back a draft, which I don't think they ever will because wars are fought in a different manner now, but the fact still remains, if a draft were reinstituted today, the 18-year-olds are going. So you got no right to tell the 18-year-olds that they can't have a drink or a smoke. That's why I want to move to Ireland, because at least there they have their shit together. I've heard a lot of good things about Ireland, Jacob. I don't know a lot of the details of their individual policies and their individual politics, but I put it this way: we have a number of Irish people here, and when we talk about government, they always seem content. I think they should draft women as well. I don't know about that, Lex. I know that that's something that they throw up to the feminists all the time when they say, well, you're all about equality. How come you don't get drafted? And it is a solid point. I'm not ready to go there, though. Maybe that's one of the few areas where I am a traditionalist or old school. But I just don't like to think of women being forced into harm's way. I just don't. Driving 16, voting war 18, smoking, drinking weed in some places 21 for non-work. Yeah, that's what I mean, Lifer. It's all over the place. And driving, I don't enter into it because I don't think they let you drive at 16, but I don't think anybody's trying to say you're an adult. You know what I mean? Even though it's an adult style responsibility, they're basically saying, okay, you're still a kid, but if you prove to us that you can do this and do that, put it this way, to get your driver's license, you have to pass a written test. You have to pass a driving test. We take precautions to make sure that you should have a good control of what you're doing. But 18, you can get drafted, and they don't give a fuck about any testing or anything. You just go. Omega says, I have the same feeling on the drinking age. Why change it if you can't enforce it? Now, what will changing it do other than make more people get it illegally? Well, you're 100% right. They'll just get it illegally. That's exactly what they'll do. And no, I don't understand it. Again, if you're an adult at 18, you're an adult at 18. I just don't like when government gets to be that inconsistent with rules that affect so many. That really bothers me. Let's see. Bruno says, what is the purpose of existence? I need sleep. The purpose of existence is masturbation. That is something of which I am sure. Let's see. That's how I get all my alcohol illegally, because I can't drink, but I still want it. And again, like I say, if you wanted to call 21 legal adult, I think that's a little older. I think 18 is fine, but you got to do it across the board. I agree, Lifer says, but I find it amusing that the government goes, you can't buy a cigarette, but you can drive a 2-ton car. No, you're right. I mean, I get where you're coming from, Lifer. I mean, there is that dividing line because obviously you have to prove your worthiness to drive a car, but I get what you're saying. In essence, yes. We'll trust you with this 2-ton potential killing machine, but you can't have a smoke. No, I get you. I understand what you're saying. Oh, I've always said prostitution should be legalized, Red. It's crazy that it's not. Again, it's never stopped throughout human history. It's not going to stop anytime soon. So why not legalization would just clean it up, get everybody paying taxes, make it safer for everybody. No, certainly Nevada's had it legal for ages. No problems with it there. Um, Michael says, would you consider playing the game Jurassic Park Trespasser from the 90s? It's notorious for being a beautiful failure. Really? It was ahead of its time. It's not that I wouldn't consider it, Michael. It's just I don't, there's no time for it. Between the videos we do now and having the two games going, I wouldn't have any place to play it. In the future, I might. I've got a lot of games lined up, though, that I'm thinking I'm going to want to play. But, so again, it's like, would I consider it? Yes. Will I get time to do it anytime soon? That's what I never know. Let's see. Corey says, in my opinion, 18 is a bit young to be classed as an adult. And that's fine. I mean, that's when you're classified as an adult is clearly a matter of opinion. And in fairness, not all 18-year-olds are even created equally in any sense of the world. In any sense of the word. There are some kids I know at 15, 16 have more adult tendencies than any 30 and 40-year-old I know. And the opposite is true. I know people who are 25 and still should be considered children for the way they conduct themselves. So, yeah, it's tough because you're making a generality when you designate that number. But my big point on it is whatever you designate that number, it should be across the board. Okay, guys, unfortunately, I got to go. As I said, I still got a little editing to do, and I still got to record today's episode for the Gusha 100 video that goes up later today. This was, I love Free For All Fridays. This was a perfect example today of why I love Free For All Fridays so much. We had such a great mix of the silly and the serious. And that's, I think I may start posting these Free For All Fridays as part of the podcast as well. Because I just think they're enjoyable. Just the conversations we get into and stuff here are so much fun. But this one was perfectly indicative of why I enjoy these Free For All Fridays as much as I do. Plus, of course, today was Phil. And Phil was really, really smart. So I'm glad that we had this stream today, because I wouldn't have realized that I was a 1%er, baby, and that I don't have to pay taxes if Phil weren't here today. So thank you guys for that. And as always, pamfu pamfu. Sticky stuff, sticky stuff, sticky stuff. Sticky stuff for you, sticky stuff for you. It's just like the old was it Romper Room? Where they look through the looking glass. Here's some for you, here's some for you. Sticky stuff for you, sticky stuff for you. Oh, here, let me wipe that off. Okay. All right. Sticky stuff for you. Well, bang. Okay. Flashly, like our boy Buggy. But as always, and most importantly, goosh, 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 goosh. Goosh.